Hi everyone, LiberAnarchy here, and if this video is choppy, I do apologize. I am currently defragmenting my hard drive so that I can back it up tomorrow and have everything ship shape, and then hopefully I will download Linux Ubuntu and set up a dual boot system. Let's hope. Hopefully all will go well. Now then, on to the subject of the video. Again, if it's choppy, I apologize. Conspiracy theorists. There are occasions where people do conspire. Unfortunately, many conspiracy theorists come out with some pretty unlikely scenarios. In fact, I would say that a great many conspiracy theorists seem to have this idea that the entire world, or this humongous group of people, or perhaps even a very small group of people, are at the helm of every world government, every large corporation, every single bank, every special interest group, every media outlet, everything. But you must understand there are occasions where people do conspire. Watergate being the most I think the most common example of a conspiracy everybody believed in. There was the Whitewater scandal with the Clintons. Let's see, Enron, WorldCom. There were lots of savings and loans scandals. Let's see. I mean, there are occasions where people do conspire. People conspired to assassinate Abraham Lincoln. People conspired to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Conspiracies happen. And there are groups that do have an interest in assuming and asserting power and controlling people's lives. I'm not even getting into the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, what else? The Majestic 12, Freemasons. I used to be a conspiracy theorist. Incidentally, I know a Mason. Actually, I probably know more than one, but in real life I know one who actually is a conspiracy theorist, interestingly enough. Fun guy. But anyway. But yeah, I'm not even talking about all these groups. There are special interest groups and lobbyists, and there are companies who buy off politicians in order to accomplish their ends. We recently had a fiasco called Sopa Pippa. Remember that? There were major media outlets lobbying the government to pass a few extraordinarily far-reaching bills that would censor rather drastically, people's activity on the internet in order to protect intellectual property, even though we already have the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. In fact, there are certainly times when the government oversteps its bounds. I could sit here for hours and read off examples. The NDAA is the most recent, truly egregious example where President Barack Obama signed a bill, National Defense Authorization Act, does it every year, but this year, this allows the government to suspect, just say, okay, we suspect this person's a terrorist, and just take people, lock them away for an indefinite amount of time without a trial. That's pretty disgusting. This stuff does happen. So please understand, if you are a conspiracy theorist, if you are listening to Alex Jones and going to Prison Planet, or following the rather interesting, shall we say, theories of David Icke about the reptilians and secret societies and Jim Mars and Richard C. Hoagland, there's a reason I know these names. I was a conspiracy theorist in the sense of 9/11 was an inside job. Area 51, that's where they keep, that was my thing actually. Area 51, where they keep the frozen aliens. That there are cryogenically frozen aliens in Hangar 18. That was my thing. Okay, Y2K. I wasn't quite convinced that society would collapse and all the computers would just go. But still, roundabout then I was a conspiracy theorist. The drug war was not just a bad idea, not just an excuse to infringe upon people's constitutional rights, but rather a means for the establishment to abscond with and control people's consciousness and prevent people from opening up avenues to their own spirituality. Yeah. So, yes, I was a conspiracy theorist. And it's I think easy to be a conspiracy theorist because the world is set up against the little guy, the system. In America, we have a two-party system, and very often the Republicans and the Democrats often work as two wings of the same party. They both waste money. They both rob us of our freedoms, and it's disgusting. We know that humongous banks and humongous corporations, which there wouldn't be corporations without the state, but that's a different rant. We know that huge banks and huge corporations have a lot of influence. They share the helm with the government because they do essentially bribe the government, although they don't call it bribes or gifts. And now with campaign finance reform, which really was not campaign finance reform, McCain-Feingold, remember that? Now, if you want to give a whole bunch of money, if your particular special interest wants to give a whole bunch of money to a candidate, just have a supergroup. So, however, private citizens cannot give more than $2,500 to a candidate. So, if for whatever reason, let's say Ron Paul was my guy, okay, I can't give $2,501 to him. But it's odd. It's yeah. Right. Odd being a euphemism for crazy and corrupt. So yes, the system is set up against the little guy. And so I'm not calling conspiracy theorists stupid. I am, however, making a video to essentially, hopefully, raise the level of discourse. Okay, if you will sit here and listen to my suggestions. First of all, good gracious, stop saying, wake up, people. Don't say, wake up, people. If somebody disagrees with you or even says something that is blatantly wrong or that is being willfully ignorant or willfully stupid, do not tell them, wake up. 1, you sound like a walking stereotype. 2, it isn't an ad hominem attack, meaning you're attacking your opponent rather than your opponent's position. I'm not saying you mean to do this. You really and honestly could think that here's an individual who is sleepwalking. Fine, you can think whatever you want, but it hurts your position when you tell people, wake up. Or when you say something like, whatever, you could be a 9/11 truther or an anti-vaxxer or whatever your pet theory is. When you say, we need to wake people up, etc. and so forth, you are implying that those who disagree with you are automatically not aware of the issue. Now then, be consistent. If you tell me that the mainstream media is not to be trusted because it is run by this corporate, military, industrial, government, secret society complex, don't cite sources from mainstream media to support your opinion. Now, if you are going to cite something from Wall Street Journal, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, USA Today, BBC, mainstream media, Yahoo News, any mainstream media outlet. Don't tell me that the mainstream media is completely unreliable. Pick a position. Now, I'm not saying that the media does not have bias in it. It does. Fox News, run by Rupert Murdoch, openly supported Sopa Pippa. CNN is run by Ted Turner, very liberal. Rachel Maddow, Judge Napolitano, and Bill O'Reilly are all going to have vastly different personal biases. You can easily get this same story 3 different ways from those 3. Actually, you're going to get different stories from those 3. And as much as I do not agree with many of Rachel Maddow's viewpoints, remember, before you jump on her too harshly, she did speak up against Barack Obama signing the NDAA. But yes, I would agree that MSNBC, for example, is liberally biased. I mean, there's all kinds of bias in the media. I respect that. And you have media outlets run by very few companies. And it's interesting to watch the media change with the internet. In a way, it's sad to watch newspapers die, but when the car came along, it was sad to watch buggy whip salesmen go out of work. I mean, it happens, but I like seeing the chance for schmoes to get on the internet and say their piece. But yeah. So, by all means, cite mainstream media, but don't tell me, oh, by the way, the mainstream media is run and completely controlled by this, government, military, secret society, corporate, whatever, media complex thing. So it's completely invalid and they never report the truth. And whoever they are, blah blah blah, Okay, now, yes, I have a flag on my shirt. You want to see? I want to be very forthright. I am part of the LGBT community. I am also a libertarian. Basically, get the hell out of my wallet and get the hell off my lawn. If you're the government. See, if you're a business, I don't have to let you in my wallet. Anyway, so or on my lawn, but again, different topic. But since my flag did show, I want to let you guys know where I stand and actually show you the flag, so people don't start suspecting. People don't see red, for instance, just red and start saying, "Oh, you're a commie." Yeah, nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. If you want to laugh at somebody, go find Mouse Rebel News. He is full of lols. I don't know if the guy's serious or what, but complete lols. Okay, my next tip: be specific. They. Who are they? Who are they, and what are they doing? Is it a specific school district in a certain area that is doing something like having these lunch monitors rifle through the lunches of 4-year-olds or something like that? Is it a specific school district? Is it a specific special interest group lobbying for a specific thing? Is it... Okay, if it's the government, is it a specific department? FBI, CIA, NSA, all that alphabet soup shit. What part of government? Which politicians? I can easily say, okay, And sometimes the government and corporations, unfortunately, governments, corporations, and banks, and religions and the military, unfortunately, sometimes they do work hand in hand. But if I'm going to make a case specifically saying that a particular let's say that the military has too much power or the military is getting too much funding, I am going to have to be very specific, and I'm going to have to say, okay, the Pentagon said blah da 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 da. This particular arms company offered this for this price, and the military, the Pentagon said, yes, we will buy that from you, or whatever. I'm going to have to say President Barack Obama authorized this spending, or this bill was first proposed in a committee headed by, I don't know, Gingrich and Pelosi, and they called it the Evil Deeds Committee, and you know what I mean. What specific bill is being passed that is going to rob us of another freedom? Who's proposing this bill? Okay. Or what specific corporation or corporations are lobbying for a specific bill to be passed? What will it do? Okay. If you're going to tell me about GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and say they're trying to make all our food GMOs, who are they? Is it big agribusiness asking for subsidies for GMOs? It may be. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not a fan of big agribusiness. Check out the meat industry and some of the shenanigans that go on there. It's kind of gross. You got to have an iron stomach. But again, if it's agribusiness, are we talking about Arthur Daniels Midland? Are we talking about Monsanto? What are we talking about? Or maybe all of them in general. Maybe they've all kind of come together and conglomerated and said, we're going to lobby the government for this, 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 and this. Now, unfortunately, what I hear from a rather big name conspiracy theorist, I'm not the one who listens, my mother listens and subjects myself and my brother to it, unfortunately. Alex Jones, he will say things, they're poisoning our air, they're poisoning our water, they're poisoning our food, and they're poisoning our children with vaccines, and whoa, back that up. Okay, fluoride in the water, one issue. Vaccination, another issue. Genetically modified organisms, yet another issue, and they may actually help feed the third world. Okay, so these issues are much more nuanced. But okay, poisoning our air. Okay, pollution. Chemtrails, I guess. Okay, so what you're going to have to argue is take fluoride in the water. Show us specific studies and make your case. What does fluoride in the water do? Who's putting it in there? What do particular studies show? Personally, I don't think fluoride needs to be in the water, but I don't think it's some sort of mind control thing that obscures the third eye that looks like a pine cone. Sorry, it's that's another author that I read. But yeah, but if that's what you think, show specific studies. Tell me about specific municipalities that put fluoride in the water, and show me actual medical doctors and dentists and things that say this is not good for your teeth, or that might say this is fine for your teeth, but don't swallow it. Or this is fine in trace amounts, but you're getting more than trace amounts. Whatever the case may be. But show specifics. Okay? Don't just make several declarative sentences and say that and then implicate they. Who are they? And if you're going to tell me about Illuminati, Skull and Bones, Majestic 12, the Masons, there's a bunch of others that, yeah. For secret societies, they don't keep themselves very secret, do they? If everybody knows about them and seems to have an idea of how evil they are and what they're doing, they're not doing very well at keeping themselves secret. Anyway, we don't need secret societies to do anything to anybody. Why? The government can just make laws. We don't need even the government. There are people who say the government is getting ready to attack Iran, the government is getting ready to attack Syria, blah da 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 da, so that and institute this plan where this will happen and this will happen and this will happen, so they can declare martial law. They don't need to do that. They don't even need to declare martial law. They'll just make new laws. So never say wake up people or say we need to wake people up. If somebody is listening to you, they want to hear your case. They may disagree with you vehemently, but they're there to hear your case. So avoid saying wake up people. Be specific and be consistent, especially when with your attitude about mainstream media. And another thing, when somebody retorts, agree with them or don't agree. Point, counterpoint. Debates, arguments, whatever. Point, counterpoint. You don't have to agree. Goodness gracious. Do not say, but that's what they want you to think. Basically, I don't know if that's a red herring or argumentum ad absurdum or what. But the idea is when somebody says, but that was what they want you to think, that could feasibly justify anything. There are invisible hamsters waiting to conquer the earth, but they have this plot to steal our bodily fluids through dehydrating us, and that's why you have crappy local water supplies. So we don't drink water. So our body fluids would be more concentrated. Of course, this is silliness, what I'm saying. I'm not actually making this claim, and I'm not saying that all conspiracy theories are this silly. But then you can retort with whatever you're going to say. Hey man, that's ridiculous. I have no reason to. I don't see or hear. I don't hear any invisible hamsters. I can't taste them or touch them. There's no evidence for these invisible hamsters. And the money and the time and the effort that would go into making local water supplies yucky, and the complete lack of whistleblowers. This is ridiculous. You would maybe make an argument like that, and then I could come back and say, that's what they want you to think. Not only did they put the time and the money and the effort into concocting this wild, elaborate conspiracy, but they also put time, money, and effort into hiding it and setting it up in a scenario such that you would think that it looks like something else that's much more probable. So please stay away from them. That's what they want you to think. Oh, that's what the media tells you. That's just what the PC media tells you. That's what you were brainwashed into thinking by the school system. That's what you were brainwashed into thinking by the mainstream media. That's what. Yeah. That's what they want you to think is just not an argument. There's one more. One more. Oh, possibility versus probability. Stay away from is it possible scenarios. Because the answer is yes, it's possible. Present any scenario. Yes, it's possible. I don't care how ridiculous. Present me a scenario. It's possible. It's possible that I am a reptilian. And it's possible that I am giving these tidbits of, I guess you could call it advice, to conspiracy theorists because I want to subdue you. I want to make you feel sad so you don't argue, so you don't wake people up to the reptilian overlords running the world. I could be intentionally strawmanning you with my example of being a reptilian because actually I work for the government. It's possible. Is it probable? No. I will never work for the government, I can tell you that. Why? Well, a long time ago, on September 11th, 2001, in my complete ignorance, I mean, I knew we had been attacked, but I didn't know, well, I wasn't attacked. I knew that the World Trade Centers had been bombed via the use of hijacked planes by suicide bombers, which some people will disagree with, but that's a different issue. I knew that the United States had been attacked, but I did not know who was suspected. I went on I went on the Taliban's website. They had a website. I don't know if they have one now. Also, I've been to other terrorist websites. Why? I have no love for Islam. I do not like striking fear into the hearts of a populace, whether it's American or Iraqi or Afghani. I have no love for terrorists. I have no love for suicide bombers. I have no allegiance to Palestine or Israel. Yet, I'm curious. I've been on Nazi websites, communist websites. There's an American Communist Party. They have a website. I've been to Hezbollah's website, all in Arabic. But you can understand the political cartoons. I've been to, let's see, who else? Well, I've been to several terrorist websites. I can't remember the names of all the terrorist cells. I've been to the American Nazi Party's website. I've been to all kinds of Scientology. I've been to all kinds of websites that are questionable. Note that I did not say anything specific about Scientology. Of course, I don't expect that you would sue me to harass me. You know, I don't expect that you would declare fair game on me because, after all, you have discontinued fair game policy. And yet I didn't say anything specific about Scientology. So, I will never work for the government because my web surfing habits are probably pretty suspect. I might be taken away one day. I mean, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. But probable. Focus on the probable, okay? Focus on the probable. Focusing on the possible gets us into some very tenuous territory. It gets us into pretty useless questions. Is it possible that? Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Is it possible that I am an Al-Qaeda informant? Sure, it's possible, not probable. So, if you're going to set up a scenario or set up a case with this thing connected to this thing with this thing, with which is connected to this thing, and the money trail leads here and here, and these two are connected, and these two were trading notes on this situation. Hi, City. Give specific evidence, please. I'm sorry this is a mess. None of this is mine. I'm really... Fuck. Slobs. Slobs. But anyway. Probability, not possibility. Show me evidence. Show me that these people were colluding with those people. Show me where the money trail leads. Don't just get into, well, if this person was doing this on this day, and this person was doing this, and this person was doing this, then it is possible that they were all under the supervision of these people who may have wanted this thing over here to happen to those people. Well, it's possible. Because this person, and this person, they were all Democrats who did not trust the administration, and this person, let's say George Soros, he's a liberal, gives money to many liberal foundations, or many liberal organizations like the Tides Foundation, or the Koch brothers, very conservative. They dump money into many right-wing causes, so those are examples of people that are going to be hated and therefore implicated. Is it possible that all these Democratic lobbyists actually were in bed with George Soros when he gave money to that organization, which funneled money here, and here, and also to this organization, which later on did something technically criminal? Yes, it's possible. Is it probable? Is it probable? Okay. So no wake up, people. Probability versus possibility. Be specific. Be consistent. And I forget what the other one was, because there's a fifth one. I forget the fifth one, but you've already heard it. So there you go. If you're going to argue that there is a conspiracy afoot, and sometimes people do conspire, so sometimes there is, please consider what I've said. And I make long, rambling, ranty videos, and I do apologize, but if you got through this, I do appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching, and know thyself.